You've heard it said, health is wealth, so enrich your life with the Healthy Home Hour, brought to you by the Healthy Home Market every Sunday, 9 to 10 a.m. Know what's new and classic for health and wellness. Meet the local and national experts. Live God's plan to thrive, not just survive. I'm your host, Holly Adams, and welcome to the Healthy Home Hour. Morning all, so glad you're here because today we're talking about spring. It's here. Maybe you don't feel it, but look around and notice the daffodils and tree buds. And I am so excited and here to get us all in the mood. And with the best food going on is the Don Rosenburg of the Instant Organic Garden and author of No Green Thumb Required, as well as the Organic Gardener's Cookbook. Don's been with us before, actually back when the Healthy Home Hour was on Saturdays, and he's got even more. I'm talking deeper dirt about gardening, sunlight, water, and knowing when to do, what to do for your own organic garden, and what does it take, and what's at stake, or how easy is it to do it? What's the cost? And really, what a blessing when the vegetables, the herbs, and maybe some strawberries are just outside your door. So keep it locked for an opportunity to be with Don and me this Healthy Home Hour. We're going to have a good time. But first, a quick rundown of what's up at the community room at the Healthy Home Market in Plaza Midwood. So tomorrow night, Monday night, 6:30 to 7:30 is a class on the wellness journey with Pam and Dr. Jean. It's free, but it's worth a bundle, and it's very interesting. It's info on sugar, and it's not quite what you would think. Come to find out. Then Tuesday, the next night, come to the open heart meditation at 6:30 to 8. It's very healing with facilitator Kelly McDade, and for just a love donation of your choice, or free if need be, you can be there. And then Wednesday night, it's Tai Chi for Health at 6:30 to 7:30. Learn the gentle but very powerful ways to exercise anywhere, anytime. With Tai Chi, you can practice while you're standing in line at the grocery store or standing at the bank. You can just get it going right there and go nice and gentle. So get to Tai Chi. Tai Chi for Health, 6:30 to 7:30 on Wednesday. And then Thursday at 6:30 again, it's End Your Pain Now with Dr. Matt Lyon. This is an important class for you if you're in pain or you care about someone that is. Dr. Matt always has good info you can use. And of course, at the end of the week, you can get to the Aqua Chi foot baths with Alicia at the Community Wellness Center. And Samantha also does light therapy demos with info sessions on Friday. That's 11 to 2 for Samantha. Come try these therapies together. They really work. You leave feeling better and you sleep better. And check it all out and more at healthyhomemkt.com. So Don, welcome back and welcome to our new studios. Thanks for being here.
I'm glad to be here.
It's a pleasure, really. I am so excited that spring is coming and there's good things happening in the ground. You know, it seems that really everybody knows at this point that you got to eat your vegetables. But it's hard. We've kind of gotten out of the habit of cooking, and people think it's maybe too expensive, or maybe they haven't tried many organic vegetables. What is the difference? What about the difference between organic and non-organic produce? What are we trying to avoid by eating organic food?
Well, actually, people ask me which is better, vegetables, fresh vegetables, organic vegetables. And the first thing is to eat vegetables, no matter where they come from. And, when you see all these diets, they ask you to count your carbs and count your fat and count your sodium and so on. But there's never a diet that I've seen that tells you to count your vegetables. You can eat as many vegetables as you want. They fill you up. They're full of great vitamins, antioxidants, fiber, and so on. So eating vegetables is number one. And then when you look between fresh versus organic vegetables, one of the things that they're finding out is that vegetables start to lose their nutritional value as soon as they're picked. And so, for instance, green beans lose 15% of their nutritional value pretty much every day. So if you have green beans that were picked 4 days ago, they're half as valuable as they were when they were first picked. So the first thing you really want to do, if possible, is get fresh vegetables. And then organic is even better. If you can have fresh and organic, then you're really sitting pretty.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting that there is that much of a depletion of some of the nutrients in that short period of time. I didn't realize it was that high.
Well, I mean, the vegetables are, they're expiring.
Right.
And, a lot of times, they do everything they can to make the vegetables look good. And they will, and for instance, if you got some lettuce and you took it home, you notice in about a week it's starting to wilt and look bad. If you took fresh lettuce and picked it and put it in your refrigerator, which wouldn't make any sense, but if you
Right.
did, it would be in your refrigerator for 3 weeks. I mean, that will continue to be alive. So if it starts to fade in a week, it means it's probably picked 2 weeks ago. And so again, the goal is to eat fresh vegetables. And again, if you can go organic, that's even better. But people kind of obsess about organic. Eat your vegetables. Eat them fresh.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because we all do. I mean, there's so much to gardening. There's so much to try to figure it out. So I'm so glad you're here to kind of guide us a little bit or a lot. Let's start with some of the basics. The zone thing. What is that about in gardening? What zone are we in? And can you cheat on it sometimes? Are there little micro zones around the city?
Well, in Charlotte, we're in the twilight zone. But actually, the Charlotte area is absolutely blessed because it's got one of the most temperate, diverse climates. So that means that you can grow pretty much all 4 seasons in the Charlotte area. And there are 2 seasons. There's cool seasons and then there's summer. And the cool season crops are in the spring and the fall. And think of a big giant bowl of salad. Got lettuce, spinach, carrots, peas, broccoli, radishes, beets. Those are all cool season crops. And then the summer crops is what everybody really fixates on. And that's the tomatoes and the peppers and the eggplants and the squash and the green beans and the cucumbers. For a summer crop, if they freeze, they're dead. Cool season crops can easily survive a freeze. So that's what gets people confused. And right about now is the time to be putting in your cool season crops. Again, lettuce, spinach, peas, broccoli, radishes, beets, and so on.
What about, how would you start that? I mean, is seeds the best way to go, or should you get little plants, little seedlings?
Well, as people get to know me, they learn a few unflattering things about me. And one of them is that I'm a guy and I'm lazy. I don't want to do any more work than I have to. And what I'm telling you is based on soil science. It's not just my opinion. And so what we've learned is that plants do much, much better when they're planted from seed in the spot in the garden where they're going to grow.
Really?
Growing them indoors and getting the iffy pots and the grow lights and the fertilizers and the misters and the heating pads. When you talk to somebody who's like we are busy and you say, okay, you're going to have to take a course on starting plants indoors and then transplanting them outside, their heads explode.
Right.
Okay. So I tell people, find out the right time to plant the seeds, plant them at the right depth, which is very easy. And, keep the little seeds watered for the first 7 to 10 days, twice a day. Other than that, they're just going to take off like a rocket. Now, the only exception is in the summer for 3 plants. That's tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants. Those I really prefer to buy as transplants. And the reason is I don't really want to buy a package of Mr. Stripey tomato seeds and get 50 seeds. I'm not going to plant 50 tomato plants. I'm going to plant one of Mr. Stripey and one of Park Swapper and one of Mortgage Lifter or something interesting like that.
Mortgage Lifter? There is actually one?
I'll tell you about Mortgage Lifter. So I want to get three or 4 different varieties of tomatoes and interesting varieties of peppers and interesting varieties of eggplants. And actually what I tell people, and this is appropriate right about now, think of your garden as the American Idol for vegetables. It's a competition. So you have your favorites, you have your champions, and you always grow them each year, like a certain variety of tomato. But there's always a challenger. And you plant them and you see how they perform. And if they don't perform well, you vote them off the show. and you replace them with something else. And so and that's the fun part about having a garden. There's different kinds of lettuce, different kinds of peas, different varieties of everything, different colors, different flavors, different textures. And so you have your favorites that you know will work well. And then you say, I'm going to do a little bit of this.
Right.
So it's pretty exciting. So you get a lot of variety in a garden.
That is just so cool. That is so cool. It's wonderful to talk about these things that you can have fun with and you can actually nourish your body with. Mm-hmm. I love it. Yep. So we're going to take just a short little break. We'll be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. You're listening to the Healthy Home Hour, sponsored by the Healthy Home Market and Streets 1033, Charlotte's new hip hop station.
Friends, do you eat the amount of vegetables recommended by every major health organization, 5 to 9 servings daily to maintain health? Well, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, less than 9% of American adults do. Luckily, there's a great solution, and it even tastes good. Healthy and Slim Daily Greens Formula by Aloe Life. It's an easy and delicious way to get in the daily recommended servings of dark green leafy vegetables. Healthy and Slim Daily Greens Formula is top quality, certified organic greens blended with whole leaf aloe vera and Nepal cactus to support energy and stamina. Each heaping teaspoon supplies 3 servings of dark green vegetables that contain life-supporting nutrients, proteins, minerals, vitamins, and even essential fatty acids that people need to support body wellness. To learn more, visit www.allolife.com or call 1-800-414-ALLO. That's 1-800-414-2563. You can also find Aloe Life products at finer health food stores nationwide. Aloe Life, where being healthy never tasted so good.
Skin Gel by Aloe Life is made from fresh, certified, organically grown aloe vera leaves. The formula contains 1% skin nutrients of vitamin E, A, and C combined with additional herbal extracts. The ultimate value of Skin Gel is unmatched by any other topical aloe vera on the market today. The golden yellow color shows the presence of the yellow sap used traditionally for healthy skin. Skin Gel by Aloe Life is a natural and safe way to support the body, popular for hair, scrapes, burns, scars, sunburn damage, or troubled skin. Skin Gel by Aloe Life is a natural astringent, perfect to apply to clean, washed skin to tighten, and may even support cell regeneration, as shown in Aloe Life's 1997 skin study. Follow with face and body lotion for maximum benefits. Look for Aloe Life products at your local health food store or online at allolife.com, or call them today at 1-800-414-2563. That's 1-800-414-ALOE. The Aloe people. Aloe Life.
Friends, are you in and out of doctors' offices suffering with digestive issues, gas, heartburn, allergies, weight loss challenges, depression, or declining health in general? Well, find out why and what to do about it in the best health book of the century, fully referenced, called Beyond Gluten Intolerance, GIS. 3 books in one with 12 chapters well referenced, including recipes, and over 80 health conditions and 20 healthy focus factors required to reach optimum health. Beyond Gluten Intolerance, GIS, is for people living with any disease, those who desire to reach a healthy weight goal, and others purely seeking disease prevention and learning how to stay healthy. Visit www.beyondglutenintolerance.com. That's beyondglutenintolerance.com, or call 1-800-414-2563. Learn how making just a few dietary adjustments and getting digestion functioning back again makes the world of difference, often in just days. Visit www.beyondglutenintolerance.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. This is your favorite superhero, Captain Immune System. I'm always hard at work defending you against millions of bacteria, viruses, toxins, and parasites that would love to invade your body. But sometimes, even superheroes need a helping hand, especially with winter approaching. It's your job to help protect the protector. So start by eating a better diet, exercising, getting plenty of rest, and adding some quality supplements to your life. One being my partner in crime, aloe vera. Aloe vera is full of vitamins, minerals, enzymes, amino acids, and micronutrients that can help me, the immune system, to be strong and resilient against infection. Many scientists and researchers believe that aloe vera supports the body to fight illnesses and diseases. When choosing an aloe vera product, quality is everything. Aloe Life has been crafting the highest quality aloe vera products for decades. To learn more, visit allolife.com or call 1-800-414-ALOE. Aloe Life is available in finer health food stores nationwide.
Novocaine, baby, baby. Novocaine, baby.
Welcome back. I'm Holly Adams. I'm here with Dawn Rosenburg of the Instant Organic Garden. We are talking about all kinds of things. I mean, you just named like the most beautiful plethora of plants I have ever heard. You're talking the salad bowl in the spring and the fall, as well as some of the things that we're more accustomed to, it sounds like, in general, the plants that come up in the summer. Yeah. And you were talking about, you were kind of comparing it to American Idol. Mm-hmm. So you've got these good standbys, these sound true plants that you plant, the tomatoes and peppers and whatnot, and then the challengers. What kind of things do you think are interesting right now in plants?
Well, you know, I will tell you very interesting things. There's always something going on, and one of the things we look for is heirloom seeds.
Yes.
Okay?
Describe what that is.
Well, an heirloom is an antique seed. Now, if you an antique just doesn't mean old. If you were in a barn and you saw an old stool that was falling apart and poorly made, it wouldn't be an antique. If you saw a stool that was well crafted, had some history to it, had some unusual features the way it was built or who built it, then it would be an antique. And the same thing goes with heirloom seeds. So and these are seeds that have been handed down from generation to generation in the United States and across the globe. And so, for instance, Chioggia beets are red and white striped beets.
Yes,
or
they're beautiful.
Dragon carrots that are purple carrots. And, you know, what kid doesn't want to take purple carrots to school in his lunchbox and show his friends? And so when you go and you look for heirloom seeds, seedsavers.org is a good website to go to. And there are lots of other shops in town that do sell heirloom seeds. One of the things that you're doing, you're getting your kids involved. Take them with you. Have them shop online with you. Have them go to the store with you. Say, ooh, would you like to grow this red lettuce? Would you like to grow these purple peppers? And get them excited. When they choose the vegetables, all of a sudden they have an investment in your garden. And they're going to help you plant them. They're going to help you water them. Kids love to water things. It's fun. They're going to help you tie them up if they're tomatoes or peppers or something. And they're going to help you harvest. And then they're going to help you cook. And what we're trying to do here is get our kids to eat vegetables. And when you're eating, remember we talked at the beginning that fresh tastes best.
Yes.
It's most nutritious. So and I have two boys and they're now, 23 and 21, but the youngest was a very finicky eater. He wouldn't eat anything that looked like a vegetable. But he chose some beets to plant. He planted the beets, went through the whole process. And, we cooked up the beets and he thought they were delicious. So when you get your kids involved, they're going to eat their vegetables. Now, the other thing is all this effort of, going to the store and buying produce or going to the farmer's market. I mean, that's really, really good. But you can only do that, while your kids are at home with you. If you show them how to have their own garden and you make it easy, and remember, I'm a guy and I'm lazy, I want everything to be easy. So if you can show them how a very small garden can be very productive and easy, when they start their own families, the first thing they're going to do is build a little teeny garden in their backyard. They're going to grow lettuce and peas and spinach and carrots and broccoli, and their kids are going to be eating fresh organic produce from their own backyard. So by starting a garden now and teaching your kids, they're going to eat healthy now, but generations that follow you are going to remember their grandma's garden and their parents' garden and their own garden. And that's very exciting. That's a lot of why I do what I do.
That's such a lot of wisdom in that. You're really creating a legacy for people, for families.
That's a good word, legacy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
legacy of gardening and knowing how nature works and knowing how plants grow. And when you can show them how easy it is to avoid synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, when they see somebody else doing it or when they see somebody spraying their lawn, they're going to go, ooh, I don't want that around me. And that's having that distaste for all things chemical is really a great thing to instill in your kids.
Absolutely. I mean, tell us a little bit about, you're talking about heirlooms, we're talking about legacies. I'm thinking of the legacy, the not so great legacy that we have all suffered from with some of the petrochemical fertilizers, because statistics show that, I think it's the carrot that has 10% of the vitamin A that it used to have in the 40s. So then they tested the same
stock of carrots, say in the 70s, and it was down by 90%.
Well, there's a lot going on with that question, so let me sort of break it down a couple different ways. The first thing is, and we're learning about how synthetic fertilizers work, and they are salt-based, and they kill the life in the soil. And the pesticides that you have to use, because the plants are weak, also kill the life in the soil, and it's the life in the soil that breaks down the minerals in the soil into a form that the plant roots can take up. So definitely avoiding synthetic fertilizers is step number one. And when you use organic fertilizers, instead of washing through the soil like they do, like synthetic fertilizers do, and get in the water table, they stay in the soil, they enhance the life in the soil, and they wait for the plant roots to take them up. So the plants are getting more nutrition from their own soil. When you use synthetic fertilizers, it's almost like taking out your stomach and feeding you sugar water. You're starving, and then you've got too much, and then you're starving, and then you've got too much. And that's not healthy for people or plants. The other thing that happens is when you have this sterile soil and you're using the synthetic fertilizers, there are not any trace elements in there. It's nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. That's all there is. And the plants, if you grow the same plant in the same spot for year after year after year, they're taking out all the micronutrients, all the trace elements that you need, the iron, the manganese, the sulfurs, and all these different chemicals that you need. All those trace elements are gone. And so it's those trace elements that help to build the vitamin content in the vegetables. And so again, it's like building a house with, inferior materials and not enough nails. It still looks like a house, but it's really not as good for you as it used to be.
Right. It just won't hold up.
Totally.
And so then your poor body won't hold up because you're not getting these nutrients.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's something like 52 nutrients, micronutrients that should be in the soil. And then you mentioned only 3 that are put on there synthetically.
Totally.
Incredible. I mean, this just sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Well, not to get into too much of history, but everybody was an organic farmer before World War II. And they didn't even know that nitrogen was a fertilizer. Nitrogen goes in bombs, and they were building big bombs. And in those plants, there'd be these little piles of things, and they noticed, the factories, they noticed these little plants were doing really well next to this pile of debris.
Wow. And
they realized that nitrogen was a fertilizer. And you know what pesticides are? They're based on nerve agents. So, we're using, bomb residue and nerve agents to fertilize our gardens and to kill our pests. That can't be good for you. I don't see any way it could be.
No, I mean, that there's so many questions that come up as you
yes.
talk about this. I mean, I want to ask you about the bees. There's so much conversation about the bees and what they've been suffering from nerve agents in these various pesticides. And then also the whole GMO issue.
Well, we can talk about that too. What you want to talk first?
Let's talk pesticides first.
Pesticides.
Because we're kind of on that subject.
Well, the bees they're suffering from a thing called colony collapse disorder. They're not really sure what it is, and when you're using these complicated chemical agents, for Roundup and all the different herbicides and all the different pesticides, you have no idea what the combination of A plus B plus C, and the bees pick it up on the little bodies and they take it back to the hive, and all of a sudden, they leave. And so we're not quite really sure what's causing it, but if you do what you can to help the bees, and these monoculture developments where it's one kind of pear tree and the rest is lawn and maybe some boxwood, and you've got 3 plants and no weeds, nothing. That's not an environment where the bees are around. I was just talking to David Blackley from Renfro Hardware, and he was saying the best way to attract bees to your yard is to leave the clover in your yard and stop using broadleaf weed killers. Leave the clover in your yard. It's good for your yard and it's great for the bees. So give them somewhere to eat while they're you're waiting for them to come pollinate your plants.
Yeah, it's so important because without the bees, we're not going to have any food anyway.
Totally.
Pretty much.
What is it, like a third of all
Yes.
foods are pollinated by pollinating insects.
Right. And
Pretty
bats.
scary.
And yes.
Definitely.
It's really important, the pollinators. So we're going to take just a little tiny break. We'll be right back, folks. Don't go away. You're listening to the Healthy Home Hour.
Skin Gel by Aloe Life is made from fresh, certified, organically grown aloe vera leaves. The formula contains 1% skin nutrients of vitamin E, A, and C combined with additional herbal extracts. The ultimate value of Skin Gel is unmatched by any other topical aloe vera on the market today. The golden yellow color shows the presence of the yellow sap used traditionally for healthy skin. Skin Gel by Aloe Life is a natural and safe way to support the body, popular for hair, scrapes, burns, scars, sunburn damage, or troubled skin. Skin Gel by Aloe Life is a natural astringent, perfect to apply to clean, washed skin to tighten, and may even support cell regeneration, as shown in Aloe Life's 1997 skin study. Follow with face and body lotion for maximum benefits. Look for Aloe Life products at your local health food store or online at aloelife.com, or call them today at 1-800-414-2563. That's 1-800-414-ALOE. The Aloe people. Aloe Life.
Friends, are you in and out of doctors' offices suffering with digestive issues, gas, heartburn, allergies, weight loss challenges, depression, or declining health in general? Well, find out why and what to do about it in the best health book of the century, fully referenced, called Beyond Gluten Intolerance, GIS. 3 books in one with 12 chapters, well referenced, including recipes, and over 80 health conditions and 20 healthy focus factors required to reach optimum health. Beyond Gluten Intolerance, GIS, is for people living with any disease, those who desire to reach a healthy weight goal, and others purely seeking disease prevention and learning how to stay healthy. Visit www.beyondglutenintolerance.com. That's beyondglutenintolerance.com, or call 1-800-414-2563. Learn how making just a few dietary adjustments and getting digestion functioning back again makes the world of difference, often in just days. Visit www.beyondglutenintolerance.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. This is your favorite superhero, Captain Immune System. I'm always hard at work defending you against millions of bacteria, viruses, toxins, and parasites that would love to invade your body. But sometimes, even superheroes need a helping hand, especially with winter approaching. It's your job to help protect the protector. So start by eating a better diet, exercising, getting plenty of rest, and adding some quality supplements to your life. One being my partner in crime, aloe vera. Aloe vera is full of vitamins, minerals, enzymes, amino acids, and micronutrients that can help me, the immune system, to be strong and resilient against infection. Many scientists and researchers believe that aloe vera supports the body to fight illnesses and diseases. When choosing an aloe vera product, quality is everything. Aloe Life has been crafting the highest quality aloe vera products for decades. To learn more, visit aloelife.com or call 1-800-414-ALOE. Aloe Life is available in finer health food stores nationwide.
Friends, do you eat the amount of vegetables recommended by every major health organization, 5 to 9 servings daily to maintain health? Well, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, less than 9% of American adults do. Luckily, there's a great solution, and it even tastes good. Healthy and Slim Daily Greens Formula by Aloe Life. It's an easy and delicious way to get in the daily recommended servings of dark green leafy vegetables. Healthy and Slim Daily Greens Formula is top quality, certified organic greens blended with whole leaf aloe vera and Nepal cactus to support energy and stamina. Each heaping teaspoon supplies 3 servings of dark green vegetables that contain life-supporting nutrients, proteins, minerals, vitamins, and even essential fatty acids that people need to support body wellness. To learn more, visit www.aloelife.com or call 1-800-414-ALOE. That's 1-800-414-2563. You can also find Aloe Life products at finer health food stores nationwide. Aloe Life, where being healthy never tasted so good.
Novocaine, baby, baby. Novocaine, baby.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Healthy Home Hour. I'm Holly Adams. I'm here with Don Rosenburg of the Instant Organic Garden. He is the Instant Organic Gardener. There's more information stuffed in Don's head than you can possibly imagine. Check it out. Go online too at instantorganicgarden.com. And his phone number, if you'd like to talk to him directly, is 704-910-6498. So we mentioned GMOs, and I want to ask you about that. And I also want to ask you about that tomato you talked about. There were a couple of cool ones, the Mr. Stripey and the mortgage lifter and all that. But let's start with GMOs and go into why we want these other plants.
Well, not to get too political, but I will tell you that there's a lot of upset about GMOs when it comes to gardening. And I can actually alleviate some fears about that, because unless you are growing sugar beets and corn and wheat and soybeans and so on, unless you're a farmer buying a 100-pound sack of seed, you cannot buy genetically modified seeds right now.
Oh, hallelujah.
Yes.
Thank you.
So plant your garden and don't worry about it. Now, another thing is, so on the other hand, a lot of the processed foods that we eat, the corn syrups and the corn flour and the corn meal and the wheat this and the wheat that, I don't know what's in that stuff. And I'm very, very concerned about that. So again, I try to avoid anything that's white, the sugars, the flours, marshmallows. I avoid all white foods as much as I can. And I'm eating a lot of vegetables, a lot of meats. And I just keep it simple, and it tastes good. It's good for me. And so, so we don't really need to worry about genetically modified, seeds in our garden. And so that's a bit of good news, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't be really trying to understand what's going into our main grain crops. That's very disturbing.
Right. And there's a lot of information out there that you can check out. There's something called the Organic Consumers Association that you can go online and look at what they're doing and trying to get the whole GMO issue better understood throughout
Now, people get confused about hybrid seeds. Because that sounds scary. But people have been hybridizing plants for hundreds and hundreds of years. Hybridizing is just taking one variety and another, getting them in a dark room together so that they can make love and make little seeds. And when you plant those seeds, the resulting plants have unusual characteristics. And they might be more productive. They might be more disease resistant. There's nothing at all wrong with hybrid seeds. On the other hand, if you try to plant the seeds that come from those hybrid vegetables, you're not going to be quite sure what you're going to get. So it's sort of a way of to pay back these breeders of the seeds for all the thousands. They might do 10,000 trials before they find one variety that they like. So you have to keep buying the seeds from them. Now, heirloom seeds generally breed true. And they also have been kept for unusual qualities and unusual characteristics and so on. And so when you plant those and then you make sure that they're not cross-pollinated with other similar varieties, you just keep them separate and you plant those seeds, you're going to reliably get that same plant year after year after year. So there's nothing wrong with hybrids. And there's everything right with heirlooms. Right.
And so hybrid, just to make the distinction really clear, hybrids are not the same as GMO, as genetically modified.
Not in the slightest.
Right.
Not in the slightest.
Yeah. So what about that mortgage lifter? Is that an heirloom seed?
Well, it's a really cool story.
Yeah.
And the story is, this is back, I believe, it was in the Depression. And what happened was this man basically lost his job. And he was a well-known gardener. And he had this variety of tomatoes that everybody liked. So he started growing the tomatoes and selling them. And he used the proceeds from the sale of his tomato seedlings to pay his mortgage. So they called it mortgage lifting. And there's lots and lots of really cool stories about different varieties of seeds.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I heard that there was actually a heritage trade show, heritage seed kind of trade show that happened in Sonoma County in California not long ago.
Everything happens in Sonoma County, California.
Yeah, when you're talking gardening and wine and
yes. Totally. Totally. I've never been there, but again, seedsavers.org is where I buy my seeds. And you can go online, you can look at the different varieties and read a little story about them. And it's really fascinating to see the different varieties. And again, get your kids involved, get them involved in starting a garden and picking the seeds. You know, that we actually have a lot of seeds and seed packets at the Healthy Home Market. So even, when you're shopping, you can pick up some seeds and check them out. There's several varieties of tomatoes and lettuces. And is now the time to get lettuce in the ground? Yes. Now, before we start there, everybody says to me, oh, I have to buy organic seeds. And it's nice to buy organic seeds, but really what makes a plant organic is the way it's growing. You put organic seeds in the ground, you give them synthetic fertilizers, and you coat them with pesticides. They're not organic anymore. You take a regular seed, you plant it with organic fertilizers, and you use organic pest control methods. It's an organic plant. You can't certify it and say, I'm selling you certified organic produce, but for all intents and purposes, it's organic. So I had one woman come to me one year and she said, Don, I was going to grow tomato plants, but I couldn't find any organic tomato seedlings. It's like if there was any little teeny bit of fertilizer, remember we talked about it, it washes through. In a week, all that fertilizer's long gone. So again, grow your plants in organic conditions and they'll be just fine.
So you mentioned fertilizer, organic fertilizer. Let's talk about organic fertilizer. What are you talking about?
Well, there's a commercially available product called Plant Tone.
Okay.
And it's available at all the big box stores and it's easy to find and so on. And that, remember, you're talking about the trace elements. It has all the trace elements in it. Now, the other thing, if you go to the good garden centers and ask for worm castings.
Worm castings, okay.
Worm castings are worm poop.
That's what I thought you meant.
Yes, and I actually had the opportunity to go to a worm casting factory. And it's amazing. It's very scientific. They have these little teeny toilets. And it takes about a month to teach the worms how to push the little handle. But after that, they poop like crazy. And you have all the worm castings you need.
Where do you get worm castings?
Actually, there are facilities where they have the worms and they're eating up all this garbage and food waste. And they try to be very, very careful about what goes in. And worm castings also have the trace elements. And the other cool thing is they have beneficial bacteria and beneficial fungi. So if you're starting a brand new garden, it's almost like an apartment complex that's empty. And if you're not careful, if you don't populate it with good tenants, then all the bacteria and all the fungi that are in the air around you, they'll land, and the bad ones have just as good a chance to get in as the good ones. So when you use something like worm castings and inoculate your garden with good bacteria and good fungi, then you end up with an even more productive garden. So
we're talking worm castings and Plant Tone.
Yes.
Or those are the
one
two
or
key.
Yeah,
one or the other.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the other main ingredient is sun.
Yeah, I was just writing that down.
Yeah. How about what is the deal with the sun? It's a catalyst for gardens, and how do you set up your garden for enough sunlight?
Well, that's the one thing I cannot fix for you. What we're doing,
okay, Don.
What we're doing in this approach. Remember, I'm a guy and I'm lazy, and the people that are listening are busy. So we build raised beds. We use weedless soil, which is a potting mix of affordable potting mixes that you can buy.
Okay.
We use organic fertilizers, and then you make good use of limited space, so a small garden is productive. And so, therefore, we're not digging in the clay. And in the clay are weed seeds that are dormant for 20 to 50 years.
Oh, my goodness.
2/3 of the work of a garden is pulling the weeds that you woke up when you tilled your garden. And everybody tills and tills and tills, and they don't understand why they keep getting weeds back because they keep pulling them.
Oh, I've been guilty of that.
Right. So we were talking about sunlight. That's the one thing I cannot fix. You need at least 6 hours of sun. 8 or 9 or 10 hours is better. And in fact, if I can show you, here's a way to check your sunlight in your backyard on a cloudy day in the winter, okay? And you can do it in 30 seconds. So everybody think about which way south is and face south. Now, the sun doesn't rise in the east, it rises in the southeast. So if you're standing and you're facing south, you can now trace the path of the sun across your sky. Instead of looking at the shadows on the ground, you look at how big your sky is.
Uh-huh.
So if there's a field over here, you're standing at a field, there's open sky at 6 a.m, there's open sky at 6 p.m. You've got 180 degrees of sky, that's 12 hours of sun. If on the other hand, you're standing in a different part of your yard and there's a tree over here and there's a house over there, as long as that wide open sky between them is at least 90 degrees, you've got 6 hours of sun. And so, if you're looking to buy a house somewhere, go ahead and look at different spots in your yard. They need to be level. They need to be near your back door, near a source of water to be as convenient as possible. And it can be a little bit unlevel, but they generally need to be generally level, and you need 6 or so hours of sun. And if you see people in the backyard at the same house and they're waving their arms up in the air and looking up at the sky, they've been to one of my talks.
Well, that's really key. So 90, a slice of sky that's 90 degrees
90
wide.
degrees.
And you can do a garden.
Yes.
So that or more.
Yes. Now, I will do something for our listeners. I have access to instantorganicgarden.com, and I sell a basic membership for $9.95. And that gives them access to pages from my book and from videos and so on. And all I do is give them a password. So don't tell anybody, but the password to the Instant Organic Garden website when you're asked to be on a protected page is lowercase IOG for Instant Organic Garden. And that should last about a year. So if you go onto my website and you have some questions, there's all sorts of information on dealing with pests and diseases. Go ahead and pop on there, type in IOG, and your computer will remember you. You won't have to do it every time. But
Thank you.
That's for your listeners today.
Thank you. We all thank you. That's fantastic. So on that note, we're going to skip out for just a moment. We'll be right back, folks. Keep it locked to Streets 103.3, Charlotte's new hip-hop station.
Friends, do you eat the amount of vegetables recommended by every major health organization, 5 to 9 servings daily to maintain health? Well, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, less than 9% of American adults do. Luckily, there's a great solution, and it even tastes good. Healthy and Slim Daily Greens Formula by Aloe Life. It's an easy and delicious way to get in the daily recommended servings of dark green leafy vegetables. Healthy and Slim Daily Greens Formula is top quality, certified organic greens blended with whole leaf aloe vera and Nepal cactus to support energy and stamina. Each heaping teaspoon supplies 3 servings of dark green vegetables that contain life-supporting nutrients, proteins, minerals, vitamins, and even essential fatty acids that people need to support body wellness. To learn more, visit www.allolife.com or call 1-800-414-ALLO. That's 1-800-414-2563. You can also find Aloe Life products at finer health food stores nationwide. Aloe Life, where being healthy never tasted so good.
Skin Gel by Aloe Life is made from fresh, certified, organically grown aloe vera leaves. The formula contains 1% skin nutrients of vitamin E, A, and C combined with additional herbal extracts. The ultimate value of Skin Gel is unmatched by any other topical aloe vera on the market today. The golden yellow color shows the presence of the yellow sap used traditionally for healthy skin. Skin Gel by Aloe Life is a natural and safe way to support the body, popular for hair, scrapes, burns, scars, sunburn damage, or troubled skin. Skin Gel by Aloe Life is a natural astringent, perfect to apply to clean, washed skin to tighten, and may even support cell regeneration, as shown in Aloe Life's 1997 skin study. Follow with face and body lotion for maximum benefits. Look for Aloe Life products at your local health food store or online at allolife.com, or call them today at 1-800-414-2563. That's 1-800-414-ALOE. The Aloe people. Aloe Life.
Friends, are you in and out of doctors' offices suffering with digestive issues, gas, heartburn, allergies, weight loss challenges, depression, or declining health in general? Well, find out why and what to do about it in the best health book of the century, fully referenced, called Beyond Gluten Intolerance, GIS. 3 books in one with 12 chapters, well referenced, including recipes, and over 80 health conditions and 20 healthy focus factors required to reach optimum health. Beyond Gluten Intolerance, GIS, is for people living with any disease, those who desire to reach a healthy weight goal, and others purely seeking disease prevention and learning how to stay healthy. Visit www.beyondglutenintolerance.com. That's beyondglutenintolerance.com, or call 1-800-414-2563. Learn how making just a few dietary adjustments and getting digestion functioning back again makes the world of difference, often in just days. Visit www.beyondglutenintolerance.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. This is your favorite superhero, Captain Immune System. I'm always hard at work defending you against millions of bacteria, viruses, toxins, and parasites that would love to invade your body. But sometimes, even superheroes need a helping hand, especially with winter approaching. It's your job to help protect the protector. So start by eating a better diet, exercising, getting plenty of rest, and adding some quality supplements to your life. One being my partner in crime, aloe vera. Aloe vera is full of vitamins, minerals, enzymes, amino acids, and micronutrients that can help me, the immune system, to be strong and resilient against infection. Many scientists and researchers believe that aloe vera supports the body to fight illnesses and diseases. When choosing an aloe vera product, quality is everything. Aloe Life has been crafting the highest quality aloe vera products for decades. To learn more, visit aloelife.com or call 1-800-414-ALOE. Aloe Life is available in finer health food stores nationwide.
Novocaine, baby, baby. Novocaine, baby. I want you.
Welcome back. We're here with the Dawn Rosenburg of the Instant Organic Garden, talking about really great details for how to get your garden up and running this spring on into the summer and over into the fall, perhaps, if you're willing to do that. Dawn makes it really sound very easy. And I want you to know, Dawn, I mean, I know your gardens save time and they solve a lot of problems right from the get-go. You're talking about not tilling the soil up to release these seeds that are just waiting to mess you up. And you tell us about some of the other pitfalls that people might want to avoid. Like, I'm sure you have a top 3 or 5.
Well, people make lots of mistakes.
Sure.
And what they're trying to do is they're trying to take clay soil and make it into fertile garden soil. And there's benefits to growing in clay, but I'm a guy and I'm lazy. I don't want to pull all those weeds. And so if you build a raised bed, fill it with new soil that is a weedless potting mix. There's a brand of topsoil in a bag called Timberline. I just bought a bunch of it, $1.59 a bag. Very affordable for a cubic foot. There is another cow manure compost called Black Cow with a K. And you mix that 50-50 and you fill your raised bed with it. You don't have to dig in the clay. You don't have to scrape up the sod. You just cover it with, don't put any fabric over it. Just cover that grass with the soil mix, the two blended together. Put your organic fertilizer, your Plantone or your cow manure or your worm castings in the top 5 or 6 inches of soil. And you'll smother your grass. It becomes organic matter. The worms that are living underneath climb up into your bed, and you have got a jump start. Now, people make mistakes, though. We're not going to make the mistake of having the wrong amount of sunlight. We've already talked about that.
Right.
So one of the mistakes that people make is planting, actually is with their watering. They water too often.
Interesting.
Okay, and you can not drown, but you can hurt your garden with kindness by watering too much.
Right. You get it moldy and all kinds of things can
Exactly.
happen.
Now, a raised bed is going to drain really well, but what you want to do is you want to water seldom and deeply. That means you're going to water 2 or 3 times a week, not every day. And you're going to water, depending on your water pressure, you can use a watering wand as opposed to one of those jet things that you use to clean off your driveway. So you want a gentle spray with full pressure, full volume, but you want it to be gentle.
You call that a wand.
A watering wand, and it's not one of those things that has the 6-way dial on it.
Okay.
It's basically looks like a little tomato can with lots of holes on one end, and it fits to the garden, to the hose or to a wand. You want to water the base of the plant, and you want to water early in the day. And again, what that does is it lets the water go all the way down into the ground, and the plant roots follow that water down. Now think about it if you did it the other way. You gave it a little spritz for a minute twice a day. All the moisture would be in the top inch of soil. The soil below it would be bone dry. And no self-respecting plant root is going to dig into dry soil. It's going to stay on the top, and you're going to have this mat of roots on the top inch, and it's just not healthy for the plant. So you want to water seldom and deeply. That's the most common mistake that people make.
Very interesting, because I know the tendency really is to overwater. Mm-hmm. So it's 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah, depending on the conditions. If it's and obviously if it's rained, that counts as a watering. So you don't.
It does. Okay, even like how much rain? A heavy rain, a light rain? What?
Well, you can take a tuna fish can and put it out in your garden, and you want 1 inch a week of water generally.
Okay.
And so if you get a 1/2 inch of rain, that means you'd water once that week, not twice.
That's a great little trick to do that, because it's hard to know exactly.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that people do wrong is they use pesticides. And the rule in the South is that if it crawls, it dies.
Right.
If you see something crawling on your tomatoes, you have to pull out the 7 dust and fumigate your entire backyard. And again, what we're learning with soil science and organic science is that 90% of the bugs are beneficial, and it's only 10% that do any harm. And if you give those good bugs half a chance, they'll eat the bad bugs.
Wow. Okay.
So instead of preventively killing everything in your garden and again hurting the life in your soil and so on, what you do is you have these good practices: good drainage, good sunlight, planting the right plants at the right time, giving them plenty of room between the plants so that there's air circulation, things dry out. And then when you do have a problem, plants can sustain some damage. A leaf on a plant, a plant can lose half of its leaves and still be productive. And so you don't have to freak out if you see a little hole in a leaf. That's no big deal. But when you do start to see things getting away from you, that's when you have to become a bit of a detective, find out what it is. Is it a caterpillar? Is it a worm? Is it a mite? Is it something sucking the roots? Or you really have to become a bit of a detective. There are resources online that can help you figure that out. And then you figure out, okay, I've got spider mites. Then you go online and you say, organic control spider mites. And you're going to bring up 25,000 different websites, all with their own opinion. And if it's Billy Bob's Barbecue and they have a solution for spider mites, maybe that's not so good. But instead, what we want to do is look at something's reputable. The Virginia Tech horticultural department, or Clemson University or something, and they have a thing on organic controls of spider mites. That's what you use. And use your common sense, see if it makes sense.
Wonderful. How about things like deer? And how do you cope with the deer?
Yeah, you can't use pesticides on deer.
No, definitely, yeah. No,
now deer
please don't.
Deer are quite the problem.
Yeah.
And I am not a big fan of deer because you talk about harmful animals, bears and wolves and so on. More people are killed by deer walking to the highway than any of these other animals combined, sharks and so on. And so, but the deer are everywhere. And so it's very, very hard to control them. And there's really two solutions. One of them is to use, the regular repellents that you spray on your shrubs around the perimeter of your yard. Then you can take an egg white and a gallon of water, mix it up really well, and spray your lawn. And your entire lawn is going to smell like rotten eggs, but only to a deer because it's diluted. And then you can take some organic pest repellents. And there's this woman in Chapel Hill created a business called imustgarden.com. And she has pleasant organic pest repellents. And they're things like lemongrass oil, clove oil, peppermint oil. And those repel rabbits in particular. They repel the deer as well. And so when Bambi is looking for a snack, you can't keep them out of your yard, but you want to have them prefer to go to your neighbor's yard for a snack. Now, there is one new thing that I have found, and it is a wireless deer repellent. And what it is, it's 2 AA batteries, and it's a little capacitor, and it gives the deer a little shock. It has a little attractant, and the deer come up and they smell it and they lick it, and they get a little shock. And it basically trains them to avoid that part of the area. So you might have 4 of these little sticks. They're about 2.5 feet tall, and they have a little battery in them. You just stick them in the ground, and you might put them around where your garden is, and you basically shock your deer into leaving your garden alone.
So they'll go to the neighbor's garden instead.
Exactly. It's sort of like static electricity, but a little stronger.
Right. There's it's very interesting because I have to tell you, one time I was coming up Selwyn from Park Road, and there's a rotary right there. And in the middle of the street at about 9:30 at night were 5 deer in the middle of the city. Yeah. So you're right. They really are everywhere.
Totally.
They're just eating up everything.
They're on Facebook. They're on Twitter. They have little meetings. And I'm seeing deer in the afternoon. Seriously.
Yeah.
And it's a little frightening. So you really, when you drive around at night, you have to be really careful about what's going on.
So tell us a little bit about what the instant organic garden looks like. When you set it up, you come into somebody's yard, and what are you doing?
Well, these are raised beds, and they're made out of Western red cedar, and I will build them for you. And I actually do a garden plan for you based on what your favorite veggies are. I find out what you like and what you don't like, so you have not too much, not too little, the Goldilocks rule of gardening.
Right.
Because you want to have fresh produce, but you don't want to have too much.
Okay.
And if you have peas for dinner, you don't want there to be 7. You want there to be enough for the whole family to enjoy. And so we do a garden plan. I come out, I help you find the best spot for your garden. I build the raised bed, put it together, bring in new soil that's weedless, add the organic fertilizer, and then I support you for the next 12 months. Now you can buy fabric raised beds on my website, and the fabric beds are much less expensive, and the fabric holds up the soil and the soil holds up the fabric. It's a black fabric. It'll last 5 to 10 years, but it's not made out of iron, so that if you have a weed whacker, it'll last 5 to 10 seconds.
Right.
Okay? So the neat thing about the fabric beds, again, they're much less expensive, but they get extra oxygen to the roots. And so you get a more productive garden, and it's a healthier garden. So that's what's going on here. So in the back of each bed can be a trellis. And up the trellis are in the summer green beans, lima beans, or cucumbers, and you can have different varieties. And then in the spring and the fall, you're growing peas. And there's nothing better than fresh peas in the backyard.
Oh,
it's
no kidding.
Nothing better. It's like eating candy. And even if you go to the farmer's market and you buy peas that were picked yesterday, they don't taste like peas that you just picked and, unzip them and you're popping them in your mouth in the backyard. It is delicious. And again, getting your kids involved in the garden. I put in a garden, one of my first gardens I put in, I went back, beautiful family, and I went back about 6 months later and I said, "Where's Matthew?" He's in the garden eating peas. And they're delicious.
It must really bring families together.
It really does. It's a great family project, but because you don't have any digging and tilling and weeding, your workload is planting your seeds once a season, watering 2 or 3 times a week, adding a little bit of fertilizer at the end of each season. There's nothing to do other than to harvest and enjoy your garden. And that is the perfect family project. When everybody was a farmer, they had these big farmers' gardens, and it might be 40 feet by 100 feet.
Right.
4,000 feet to dig and to till and to water and to weed. It's a nightmare. And I gave a talk, and one of these women at the talk said, "I grew up on a farm like that. I had 7 brothers and sisters." And when it was our job to work in the garden, and when my mom would call us to weed the garden, I'd hide under the bed.
Yeah.
And that is the way people thought about these big giant gardens. But if you have a manageable garden, 3 by 8 feet will feed 2 adults.
Now, that'll feed 2 adults for the summer?
No, you're going to garden all 4 seasons in Charlotte.
Okay, so what are you growing in the winter?
Well, you'll have things overwintering. You'll have some lettuces. You'll have some spinach. You'll have the onions and garlic will overwinter. Just because it's freezing doesn't mean it kills everything.
Okay.
It's the summer crops that get killed by the frost. So that's why you plant your tomatoes and peppers and eggplants and squash and beans and cucumbers. You plant them after the last frost, which is April 15th around here.
What about something like herbs? And I mentioned earlier strawberries.
Well, strawberries aren't herbs, but
that's true. But
herbs,
I do like them.
Herbs, think of them: tarragon, oregano, all
rosemary.
Rosemary. Those are all Mediterranean succulents. And they're used to growing in poor, well-drained soil, lean, well-drained soil, and they need lots of sun. But when you put in, rosemary can survive over the winter, so you don't need to put it in a garden and then harvest it and take it out like you do your tomatoes or peppers. And so I recommend using a leaner soil, no fertilizer, instead of using that topsoil and the cow manure compost. I say use topsoil, 50% topsoil, 50% sand, no fertilizer, put them in a pot, good drainage, leave them alone. Now, basil is more like a tomato than it is an herb. That can go, in a garden. And if you take those pots and put them around your garden, it makes it look better, but it also repels, bad critters, and it also repels pests. So you can have those same herbs in your garden, just not in the raised bed itself.
Okay, good. So you can have some extra pots around.
Exactly.
And it looks so pretty too.
Totally.
Yeah. So, wow, this is so cool. I can't wait to start my garden. So stay with us. We've got more to talk about. This is the Healthy Home Hour, sponsored by Your Healthy Home Market on Streets 1033.
Skin Gel by Aloe Life is made from fresh, certified, organically grown aloe vera leaves. The formula contains 1% skin nutrients of vitamin E, A, and C combined with additional herbal extracts. The ultimate value of Skin Gel is unmatched by any other topical aloe vera on the market today. The golden yellow color shows the presence of the yellow sap used traditionally for healthy skin. Skin Gel by Aloe Life is a natural and safe way to support the body, popular for hair, scrapes, burns, scars, sunburn damage, or troubled skin. Skin Gel by Aloe Life is a natural astringent, perfect to apply to clean, washed skin to tighten, and may even support cell regeneration, as shown in Aloe Life's 1997 skin study. Follow with face and body lotion for maximum benefits. Look for Aloe Life products at your local health food store or online at aloelife.com, or call them today at 1-800-414-2563. That's 1-800-414-ALOE. The Aloe people. Aloe Life.
Friends, are you in and out of doctors' offices suffering with digestive issues, gas, heartburn, allergies, weight loss challenges, depression, or declining health in general? Well, find out why and what to do about it in the best health book of the century, fully referenced, called Beyond Gluten Intolerance, GIS. 3 books in one with 12 chapters, well referenced, including recipes, and over 80 health conditions and 20 healthy focus factors required to reach optimum health. Beyond Gluten Intolerance, GIS, is for people living with any disease, those who desire to reach a healthy weight goal, and others purely seeking disease prevention and learning how to stay healthy. Visit www.beyondglutenintolerance.com. That's beyondglutenintolerance.com, or call 1-800-414-2563. Learn how making just a few dietary adjustments and getting digestion functioning back again makes the world of difference, often in just days. Visit www.beyondglutenintolerance.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. This is your favorite superhero, Captain Immune System. I'm always hard at work defending you against millions of bacteria, viruses, toxins, and parasites that would love to invade your body. But sometimes even superheroes need a helping hand, especially with winter approaching. It's your job to help protect the protector. So start by eating a better diet, exercising, getting plenty of rest, and adding some quality supplements to your life. One being my partner in crime, aloe vera. Aloe vera is full of vitamins, minerals, enzymes, amino acids, and micronutrients that can help me, the immune system, to be strong and resilient against infection. Many scientists and researchers believe that aloe vera supports the body to fight illnesses and diseases. When choosing an aloe vera product, quality is everything. Aloe Life has been crafting the highest quality aloe vera products for decades. To learn more, visit aloelife.com or call 1-800-414-ALOE. Aloe Life is available in finer health food stores nationwide.
Friends, do you eat the amount of vegetables recommended by every major health organization, 5 to 9 servings daily to maintain health? Well, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, less than 9% of American adults do. Luckily, there's a great solution, and it even tastes good. Healthy and Slim Daily Greens Formula by Aloe Life. It's an easy and delicious way to get in the daily recommended servings of dark green leafy vegetables. Healthy and Slim Daily Greens Formula is top quality, certified organic greens blended with whole leaf aloe vera and Nepal cactus to support energy and stamina. Each heaping teaspoon supplies 3 servings of dark green vegetables that contain life-supporting nutrients, proteins, minerals, vitamins, and even essential fatty acids that people need to support body wellness. To learn more, visit www.aloelife.com or call 1-800-414-ALOE. That's 1-800-414-2563. You can also find Aloe Life products at finer health food stores nationwide. Aloe Life, where being healthy never tasted so good.
Novocaine, baby, baby. Novocaine, baby.
Glad you're back. You're listening to the Healthy Home Hour. I'm Holly Adams, here with Don Rosenburg of the Instant Organic Garden, and also the author of 2 books that are very interesting. One called No Green Thumb Required, an organic family gardening made easy book, and then also the Organic Gardener's Cookbook, easy growing tips and delicious recipes for your homegrown vegetables. How did you, I mean, you're an author too. Why did you do that? How did you figure all that out?
Well, as I was learning about gardening, I
Yeah.
started giving talks, and I, if you know of a group that needs a speaker, usually I don't charge for a nonprofit group unless it's way far away, and I'm a pretty entertaining guy, so it's pretty much fun, and I can talk 45 minutes, an hour and a half, depending on whether you want to be a class. I teach classes at CPCC Continuing Education.
Wonderful.
And that's like a 3-hour course. It's 2 hours in class and then an hour at the Reedy Creek Community Garden.
Nice.
Where we talk about all the different practices that they use there. But so people wanted, I thought people would use a nice workbook to show them how to plan, build, plant, and manage a garden using my techniques of making it easy, making a small garden productive. And the neat thing about the No Green Thumb Required book, again, everybody says, oh, I'd love a garden, but I don't have a green thumb. That's the reason for the title of the book, No Green Thumb Required. And the neat thing about that book is if you look at it, you'll see there's 25 different projects for kids to get your kids involved. And again, like growing a green bean teepee elsewhere in your yard.
Oh, how fun.
And putting some stakes up and, making a teepee and then growing the beans. And then in the summertime, the beans are all growing and it's a little hideout.
Yeah.
For the kids in the summer, and it's cool, and they can pick the beans and bring them, so that's kind of fun. And there's 24 other projects like that. Now, the other book is the Organic Gardener's Cookbook, and I've been doing this business I've been growing 20 years, and then I started the business, so I've been doing it 9 years now. And I had all these people that were growing lots and lots of vegetables, and they said, "Well, Don, I have all this beautiful Swiss chard. I don't know what to do with it." And so I teamed up with Megan Lambert from Johnson & Wales. She's a chef, she's an instructor, she's a registered dietitian, and she loves to cook. And so together we collaborated. So remember with the No Green Thumb Required, the 3 things: raised beds, weedless soil, limited space. So I said, Megan, we've got to make cooking easy for the homeowner.
Yes.
Because the same people who don't know how to plant a seed or water a garden, they don't know how to boil water or fry an egg. Okay, they're so used to getting something in the microwave or going to a restaurant, and you and I both know that the restaurant food, some of it's delicious, some of it's locally grown, but most of it is full of salt, full of sugar, highly processed, full of fats.
Yes, has GMOs.
Exactly, all sorts of stuff going on there. And so, but they're growing all this food, but they don't know how to cook it. So I said, Megan, we need to find 3 ways to make cooking easy. So you grow your food and then you cook what you grow. And so we talked about having the right tools. That you don't need a super duper food processor or some, giant machine, the right techniques. And then also, how can we free ourselves from those darn recipe cards? Every time I try to do a recipe, there's at least 2 ingredients that I don't have, so I have to get in the car, drive to Piggly Wiggly, and find whatever.
No. You drive to the Healthy Home Market.
That's true, exactly. But and when I go off to the store, it's no longer a home cooked meal; it's a store cooked meal. And so what we do is we talk about how to come up with alternatives. We talk about overall techniques, stews and soups and salad dressings and salads and so on and so forth. But we have 83 different recipes. And some of those recipes were collected. We had a little contest across the country for bed and breakfasts and restaurants. And they submitted some of their favorite recipes for cooking vegetables.
Oh,
and
wow.
we chose through all of those, and Megan added another 50 recipes of her own. But everything is about, if you don't have this, use this instead. If you don't have this, use this instead.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So it's not just teaching you recipes, it's teaching you an approach to cooking that makes it easy.
Is that what they refer to when people say, I'm a scratch cook? Do they just kind of...
Pretty much. I mean, you cook with what you've got.
Right.
And so in this book, we go through the same thing about figuring out how to start a garden. It takes you through those same steps: how to start a garden, how to build it, what kind of materials to use, what to plant in the spring, and then we follow that chapter up with what to cook from what you just harvested from your spring garden, and then how to prepare for your summer garden, and then what to cook from your summer garden. So it's basically, if you don't know how to cook and you don't know how to garden, you can get them both in one book. It's really kind of cool.
That's very cool. That's really taking it all the way through to the goal line of having a lovely, healthy meal.
Or having a healthy life.
Yes.
Eating your vegetables, eating them fresh, eating them organic, and getting your kids involved. That is really probably the key thing here, getting your kids involved in cooking as well.
That's really key. I love the idea that you've been speaking of today about the legacy of gardening. And you're really talking about the legacy of health.
Totally.
Yeah. So One last question I want to ask you about. A lot of people come into the store at the Healthy Home Market. They're looking for bulk products like salts and sugars and flour and nuts and dried fruits because they're worried about any catastrophes coming down the road here in our times. And they sort of refer to themselves as survivalists. Mm-hmm. Do you run across people like that with what you're doing?
I do. And you'd think they're a little nutty. And I put a plug in for survivalists. So-and-so might detonate a nuclear bomb over Kansas City. Well, the chances are like 1 in 100 of something like that happening.
Of course, that's not happening, right?
No, not at all. But if there's 100 different scenarios, like the power grid can fail, 1 in 100 chance, or there would be some disease that would paralyze our healthcare system, 1 in 100 chance. There's 100 of them. So the chances that something horrible is going to happen, and I lived through Hurricane Hugo, and we were without power for a week.
Yes.
Okay. And, we had gas in the car and we could sort of get around our neighborhood. There are a lot of downed trees, but we could sort of navigate, but we had, no power. So these things can happen. And so you certainly do want to prepare as much as you can. You don't want to be crazy, but you want to prepare as much as you can. And I've actually toyed with the idea of taking the techniques that I use for gardening, because if you really do have to start growing your own food in some really dire scenario, knowing how to build raised beds, knowing how to get the right fertilizer, knowing how to make small gardens productive, getting a lot of productivity out of a small space is exactly what you're going to need. And so I've actually talked to different survivalist groups, conventions that they have, and they love what I have to say because it makes you self-sufficient.
Right. Well, that's important. And, along with the whole idea of taking care of yourself now so that you're not paying much bigger bucks later in suffering and whatnot. So it's really important to eat organic foods.
But you're also talking about quality of life.
Exactly.
Okay. So you're eating the most delicious salads. If you come to my house, you never know what kind of salad you're going to get because it's going to be based on what I picked 5 minutes ago. I mean, if you go to the farmer's market and buy fresh produce, that's great, but you're not eating it all that same day. Okay, so your vegetables are going to be 2 to 8 days old by the time you eat them. If you have a garden in your backyard, your carbon footprint is your footprints walking to your backyard, and your vegetables, instead of being 2 to 8 days old, are 2 to 8 minutes old. So your quality of life, eating fresh produce, eating healthy, eating delicious vegetables, you just can't beat it. It's a wonderful way to do it without a lot of work, and that's the key to the whole thing.
That is the key. So thank you so much for being here, Don. It's been really fun to learn about this and get us ready for the season.
Are we done yet?
We're done. We're already done. Can you believe it?
I thought we were only here for like 10 minutes. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. It has been. I really enjoyed having you, and I know all of you out there, I know you've gotten some great information from today. Check it out. Look at the No Green Thumb Required and the Organic Gardener's Cookbook by going to the InstantOrganicGarden.com so that you can see what Don Rosenburg has been up to and some more details drilling down from where we are today. And if you want to talk to Don directly, you can call him at 704-910-6498. And I'm so glad you were here today to launch into spring with us both. Thanks for being here. I'm Holly Adams. And until next Sunday, I'll see you at the market, the Healthy Home Market.
Pay it forward and restore yourself by making the healthy choices for you and your family, and enjoy life with the Healthy Home Market. Feel the goodwill and own great health. Check it out at healthyhomemkt.com. That's healthyhomemkt.com for store locations, details, and discounts. Get the best of God's green blue earth at the Healthy Home Market.